What's up, everybody? Oops, don't have my microphone. What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. I am the Finance Rebel, Kamari Ellis, and this is our Finance Rebel show. Every Saturday we do this, and the segment of this show is Wealthy Conversations. Y'all know every week, every Saturday at noon or noon-ish, we talk about what's going on with money. And man, look at my background here. I'm like slumming it. But we talk about money every week. The whole purpose and the whole reason of this show is to help make money simple, easy, and fun, right? My whole goal is to increase the financial IQs of people in my community. And overall, my audience is Black, so people in the Black community. So basically, just trying to help folks get to wealth, get to financial freedom, and do it the simplest, easiest, and most pain-free way possible. All right. So this week, we're going to talk about the IPO craze. The IPO craze, we had a lot this week. And now I'm being really self-conscious because I have all the stuff on my desk in the background that's not supposed to be there. Y'all know I'm very transparent with y'all. But we're going to talk about IPOs. We're going to talk about something that really hurt my feelings this week as well. And we're going to talk about these vaccines. Vaccines are rolling out. Vaccines are being rolled out this weekend. People are already taking them. Frontline workers are getting busy. So that's something we're going to talk about as well. Okay, so Scope Scribe is putting her bid in for her shirt. IG, over here on IG. Yes. Just in a minute. How you doing? Thanks for joining. Ambition CEO joined. Yep, all is well, family's well. All right, so Scope Scribe, if you don't win, you can get a tee for Kwanzaa. And that's all good. All I ask is you got to wear it. You got to make me a tee of the week or something like a tee today, because I see you be wearing your tees out there in these social media streets. So you got to become one of my Financial Rebel models. So real quick before we get started, I just want to say good morning to everybody. I'm Miss Adrian. Miss Edith's in the building. Miss Tiffany's in the building. Tiffany, did I miss you on Wednesday? Y'all know every Wednesday we do Wealthy Wednesdays where I answer your questions live. Thad, you're in the building. Thad, you put your bid in, so you want to see if you want a shirt. Melanie Allen, how you doing, sir? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Shanine Alexander, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Saturday. So what did y'all think? Y'all saw these IPOs go crazy this week. DoorDash came out. Airbnb came out. Got a lot of traction. What did y'all think about that? Now, for the record, y'all know I hate IPOs for the regular individual person. I think they're usually a terrible thing for individual investors. I always tell folks you do not have to invest in an IPO on the first day, even though the market tells you to, right? Because it's herd mentality. That's what the market works off of. That's what big advertisement works off of. And remember, all stock advertisements or all stock IPOs are also a form of marketing for the company as well. And so Melanie Alton says he thinks people's buying into the hype. Yep, I would agree as well. But most people do. And this is not a new phenomenon. It's been happening for decades. Matter of fact, eras, generations. So, all right, let's get to the markets. Y'all know how we normally do this. All right, so the S&P 500 closed at 3,663 on Friday. All right, it was down for the week, 0.96%. So 0.96%, if we just round it up, is 1%. So the S&P 500, that's what I use to measure the overall market, was down 1% this week. All right. However, S&P 500 is still up 13.39%. So we're still positive. We're still in the green for the year because year to date they're up. The S&P 500 is up 13.39%. All right. Oil, big oil closed at $46.56, down. Up 3% for the week. Still down though, still down 17.6% year to date. All right, so oil is starting to make its way back, right? And we know why. Vaccine juice, or what I call vaccine juice. The vaccines have the markets optimistic. The vaccines have the markets thinking that this is going to go into play tomorrow everybody's going to be cured, even though we are still seeing major deaths from COVID-19. I think the other day we had like 3,000 deaths in one day from COVID-19. So I think a lot of people think that there's this vaccine is like the new gold, vaccine gold, and you're seeing players like Moderna and Pfizer make positive headway in these streets. But it's up. And again, the economic rationale behind that is once the vaccine numbers go down, once outside can open up again, businesses can start doing business, right? Airplanes and automobiles have basically been shut down. But once we get everything rolling, right, the vaccine comes in, if it works, airplanes and automobiles will open up. And what do I mean by airplanes and automobiles, right? So, rental car agencies, car sales, all of those things, people will start buying more. Train travel overall. So you have your cruise lines, you have railroad, you have just overall transportation. Hotels can get back to booking. Airbnb can get back to doing more business because Airbnb is definitely being impacted by COVID as well. So, there's a lot of things that are going on that this vaccine could potentially help give kind of more of a battery in the back of the overall economy, which I think everybody wants, but I also recognize that everybody's not for this vaccine. We've talked about that several times. All right, so gold closed at $1,843. All right, down 2% on the week. Gold, however, is still up 18.5% year to date. All right, why is gold falling? So gold is what they call a safety asset, or what I want to call it. Why am I forgetting this term, y'all? A safety asset or a haven asset, any of those things. It's called that because people, when there's trouble, when people are in doubt, where there are wars, when there's famine, people tend to run to gold. They run to gold or to U.S. Treasury. So now, again, with this vaccine, we're seeing how all these things are linked. The play for gold won't be as prevalent anymore if it truly shows promise, right? And so, somebody asked me a question the other day, and they said, I think it was Wednesday, they said, well, why is Pfizer not doing as good as Moderna? And when I first saw it, I was going to thank you, Nicole Knoll, safe haven assets. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. All right, so gold is a safe haven asset. U.S. Treasuries are a safe haven asset. The Japanese bonds and Japanese yen are also safe haven assets as well. But going back to the question I got the other day, somebody asked me why was Moderna doing better than Pfizer, right? Because Moderna is up like crazy percentage year to date. UK firm producing vaccine. And my initial response was to say because there's more buyers buying Moderna than there are Pfizer, right? A lot of times we try to put more into this. We try to make this more sophisticated than what it actually is. We try to make this more complicated. And when I say this, I'm talking about investing. At the end of the day, the stock market is an auction. It's buyers and sellers. Buyers on one side, sellers on the other. So anytime you see a stock going up, that means it has more buyers than it has sellers in the market that are interested in that particular stock. So you have more buyers interested in Moderna than you have in Pfizer. I mean, so that was the real answer, but I hesitated to say that because my intention is never to kind of be a smart ass, even though some people tell me I come off as a smart ass sometimes. And it's cool. Sometimes I'm playing. Sometimes those are my real thoughts. Just being honest with y'all, right? So there are more buyers buying Moderna, right? So when we look at gold, you had less buyers buying gold this week than you had sellers, right? You had more sellers this week selling gold than you had buyers. You had more buyers of oil or oil contracts. You had less buyers in the stock market this week. You had more sellers this week. That's really all it is buyers and sellers. It's supply and demand. It's the law of economics that really drive all these things. Once you understand that, you can be pretty good at just about anything as it relates to business. Just saying hello to Kim W. Realtor on IG, Cates 2018. How are y'all doing? Okay, Scope Scrap says that works too. All right, cool. All right, I got you. I just got to get your address and I will send it out to you. All right. So every time stuff like this happens, if you've been rocking with me for a while, you know that I don't like IPOs because they are very, very bad for the individual investor, right? 9 times out of 10, the individual investor is chasing after what everybody else is doing. I am naturally a contrarian. All right. So I'm putting it out there just so you all can know that I'm naturally a contrarian. If you want to go left, I typically want to go right. And not just to go right just because I just want to be defiant, right? Or have oppositional defiance. But usually I see a different path. Some people rock with that, some people can't. Now, I have no problem with agreeing on someone who's going left. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going left. But it has to make sense to me. And a lot of times it doesn't make sense. And by the way, so depending on investing, what your investing time frame, your left or your right, your zig or your zag, the way you're going could be different. For example, I'm not a day trader. I can day trade, but I don't day trade. So the way I'm looking at the market isn't the same way that someone who is day trading Tesla or Moderna or any of these other popular names are. I'm looking at the long term. I'm looking at what's it going to be. Because typically, when you trade in and out of these numbers, or when you trade in and out of these stocks, you're not really going to catch the greatest movement. You're not going to have the best tax advantages. So that's kind of 2 strikes against you. And time and history have taught me that. Now, I will say this. History is a great teacher, but the future is always carved out of something that never happened before. Simply stating that you can't always just pay attention to history and think, oh, that's a great guide to the future, because the things that are happening in the future haven't happened yet and no one can predict for them. All right. So just keep that in mind. Hopefully I am not confusing anybody. Let me put a 1 in the comments if you understand what I'm saying when I say that. Sherwin 1906, how are you? Welcome. Kate 2018, I'm good. I'm breathing on schedule. That's what my homegirl Tiffany Bacon says. And I love that comment because it just means I'm here, I'm breathing. I've gotten grace for the day. And I'm here. I have opportunity to do something else. So some people say those are my old man commentary. Some people say I have an old soul, but I'm cool with it either way. I'm cool with it. I'm blessed. All right. So, just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. So the other day y'all saw I did a contest, right? So y'all know I don't like IPOs. So I make fun of them. I have fun with them rather. So I said, anybody who guesses the closing price of the Airbnb close on I believe it was Thursday, they went public. Whoever was closest to the closing price, whoever can guess the closest closing price number will get a free shirt. Now, this is the shirt. I wore the shirt today intentionally. All right. So this is the shirt you'll be getting. My favorite colors so far are red and black. I have an orange one. I don't wear it that much. I like it, but I don't wear it that much. So I promise to give 3 people a shirt. So I only put it on Instagram, and I only put this contest in my Finance Rebel Academy group on Facebook. So if you're on my Instagram page, or if you are on my Finance Rebel Academy page, or group, you will know all about this. Everybody else I kind of left out. Sorry. Didn't have time in the day. But I'll talk about that. I'll announce that because, I had to kind of do some kind of freaky formula algorithm to figure out who was the 3 closest people. And by the way, I'll do the 3 closest people on my IG, and I'll do the 3 closest people in my Finance Rebel Academy. So those will be the winners, right? Plus or minus whoever was closest to the closing price. And I want to say, I need to go back and look at the closing price now. I know it was I posted it on my IG, but I need to go back and look at it just to make sure I got it right. But you know what? It's in my funky donkey spreadsheet that I use. So I got it. All right. So listen, this week again was a crazy week. We had DoorDash go do an IPO. We had Airbnb do an IPO, right? And there's a whole lot more that's coming. And then, so what comes today in the mail? So today I get my bearings, so everybody can see this. I get my bearings every week. I know. Why do I have a paper? Why do I have real paper? Everybody asks me that. And no, I don't get to read this every week like I should. But why do I have paper and not digital? Well, I had a digital subscription too. However, for me, there's nothing like feeling and touching the newspaper or a book. I do a lot of audio listening in my books, but I still like to read the paper. So I found this week's Baron really, really interesting. By the way, if you're looking to up-level your financial education, start reading financial publications. Now, they are not God. They are not a deity up in the sky. These are just a bunch of random opinions, folks. All right. And by the way, this is not an advertisement for Barron's. I do not get paid for them. This is something I pay my money for that I get every week. Well, every day, actually, right? E-Blink. I don't want to say your name wrong. E-Blinick. So I don't really give investment recommendations. Why don't I give investment recommendations? I want people to develop their own investment recommendations. That's what I want to do. I want to help people, assist people, teach people how to make their own investment recommendations. I will talk about the conditions in which you should be thinking about it, or the way I would suggest you think about it. But I'm never going to come out and say you should buy more DoorDash and you should buy Airbnb. I will say this though. On Wednesday, on the Wealthy Wednesday show, I went over both Airbnb and DoorDash, their S1s. So anytime you're thinking about buying an IPO, a brand new company that's publicly traded, you should read their S1. And I just went over some of the selections. I will say this. Both companies are still losing money. Both of them. Both companies are still not profitable. But now both of them are worth billions and billions of dollars instantaneously overnight because they leverage the power of the markets. So, but at any rate, again, I brought my Barron's in, right? Again, Barron's IPO Frenzy. I think that's actually the title I used for my YouTube video the other day. I think they bit my style, but it's all good. It's all good. And I start perusing it, and I'm seeing here some of the things. So up and down Wall Street, from Airbnb to Tesla, it's feeling like 1999 all over again. Now, I just talked to y'all about history, right? I am still a big history buff because there's a lot of lessons in history that can help you in your future investment selection, your future business selection, to even your future relationship selection if you are in tune. But if anybody remembers 1999 in the markets, I would say that's pretty correct. Now, 1999 in the markets was the internet bubble, or the start of the internet bubble, because we had all these tech companies, all these internet companies like diapers.com. Actually, diapers.com actually made money, but there's a lot of internet companies that didn't make any money. They just got on. People were just putting money into them for no reason whatsoever. Everybody was saying people like Warren Buffett were washed up. They were trash. They were a thing of the past. Why? Because Warren had a process. Warren wasn't worried about keeping up with the Joneses, keeping up and following the rest of the herd. Warren had his own process, and they dogged Warren. Dogged him bad. But guess what? The tech bubble burst in, let's say, 2000, 2001. And then we had a whole convergence of bad things that happened, right? So in 2001, gotta say this, Aaliyah died in like August, sudden plane crash. And then in 2001, November 11th happened. Again, just a month apart. So I always, there was a lot of bad times that were plagued, and there were a lot of bad events that were plagued with that time. And I think it's always good to go look back at that. Now, Aaliyah doesn't have any real relevance to this, but I was an Aaliyah fan. And I'm just sharing that with y'all. But when you look at that, what happened with 9/11, you had the stock market burst. You had this major catastrophe. People thought stocks would continue to go up and up forever. All you had to do is do your IPO, list it, not necessarily be a good business. And then here we are again, almost 20 years later, 21 years later, kind of facing the same scenario. Now, that plane crash, 9/11, was an act of war. That's something that really can't be predicted. But it has deep, deep ramifications on your portfolio. And it's something actually that can happen at any time. It's not highly probable, right? So probability and possibility are two different things, and I feel like a lot of times we get them confused. So you know, it's important to think about that. So again, that was one thing I saw on there. The other thing I saw was the Empire Strikes Back, Starbucks, and Disney still offer growth. So you know, these are the companies that are kind of a bit boring, but they still make money. By the way, Disney just announced that they got like 86 million viewers and subscribers on their Disney Plus platform. Definitely going to be giving Netflix and all the other content streaming platforms a rumble for their money. And Disney also announced that they're going to increase the price. The good old switcheroo. Now, if anybody remembers, I talked about that because I want to say they were $4 initially. And I said this was just the pricing strategy to get everybody in the door, to get your foot in the door strategy. And then so once they did that, they're like, man, we really have something here. People really love Disney content. Now think about this, y'all. How old is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? How old is Mickey Mouse? How old is Star Wars? How old is some of the Marvel comics? Like DC owns damn near everything, not just the amusement parks. So they own Star Wars. They own the Marvel or most of the Marvel series. I'm trying to think. They own some other things as well. But if you just think about the content that's inside of there and how old it is, it's not new age era type stuff. It's old, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, but it's still being pumped out today. It's still generating money. So remember this, all the new fancy flashy stuff isn't necessarily the thing you want to do or get into when you're talking about investing. Vanessa Braxton's in the building. How are you, lady? Vanessa, I need some black mama vodka. My supply is running low. Help me out. Oh, I need some agave too. I need to put an order in. So shout out to Vanessa Braxton from Black Mama. We and Vanessa actually had an interesting conversation this week too, but I won't put it out there because it's her own personal business. But shout out to Vanessa Braxton. She is the owner, founder, and proprietor of Black Mama Tea and Vodka Cafe. But look her up. Look her up. She's dope. And she's been on TV, probably been on TV, too busy to talk to us little folks this week. So I appreciate her coming by. She's going to kill me for saying that. All right. So listen, I'm again going through Barron's, and they're talking all about IPOs. And again, you know, it was the story of the week. But y'all know I've been constant, and I'm saying the same thing I've been saying. I'm looking for boring investments. I'm looking for stuff that pays time after time after time after time. Oh, Karen Hunter put it out. Oh, so you talked about it on Karen Hunter. By the way, everybody watch Karen Hunter. Black journalists matter. Black content matters. Matter. They are Black businesses. Please support them. Between Karen Hunter and Joe Madison, I feel they are the two best. When I say best, I mean best with a big B. The two best radio show hosts in the country, literally in the country. So I definitely would check out for them, look out for them. If you have Sirius XM, listen to them. They are on Urban View. And Joe Madison is probably my favorite, but Karen Hunter is dope too. I can't really classify them in first position or second position because I really like them both. But I like Joe Madison because he's like that old uncle who just always gives it to you raw and dirty, but it's always in love. And he tells you what time it is. All right, so listen, let's look at this. I want to look at the overall return for the market or in the market for DoorDash and for Airbnb. They did some phenomenal numbers this year. And like I said, they both are in the negative, right? They both are losing. Now, which company do y'all think, y'all let me know this, which company do y'all think has the best opportunity overall over the next, not year, but over the next 20 years? Who do you think will do better? Delivery services for food and other things? Because I'm sure they won't just do delivery, right? For food, they'll probably expand to other markets, or Airbnb, renting out other people's properties. Taking a cut, marketing it, right? Because it's marketing. We talked about marketing at the top, right? Because Airbnb markets these properties. They help the owners market these properties. People travel to them. Sometimes the owner stays with the person. Sometimes they leave the house just to the guests. I'm actually going to be using an Airbnb very, very soon. I'm not going to give the time because, you know, I don't know who's all watching, and there are some crazy people out here. Now, I told you at the top of the show, I'm also going to share with you all an incident that kind of hurt my feelings this week. So I'll do that now while I'm pulling up these articles. So this week, as y'all all know, I'm the founder of the Philly Tax Team. I help people solve their tax problems, prepare their taxes, develop tax strategies primarily. I also do some other things because y'all all know I've worked in just about every facet of personal finance and investing that you can. So I also help people develop, you know, personal financial strategies, do a little bit of personal coaching. I don't like the term personal coaching, but it's all cool. It's all good. But this lady that I was helping, that was referred to me by another accountant, who had some issues, like totally spazzed out on me, y'all. It's crazy. She totally spazzed out on me. She told me I was talking to her like I was superior. She told me that I had no time for her. So just to give you all a little bit of backdrop, this lady would call me. Like without having an appointment scheduled. Right, most of my business is virtual. So you're texting me. We may schedule a call, right? But I'm not just necessarily here to pick up the telephone every time you want to talk to me. I mean, I think it doesn't work for my business model. I'm not going to share what I think it is. But, you can't call Warren Buffett and just get on his schedule whenever you want. You can't call Puff Daddy and just get on his schedule whenever you want. I can't call Vanessa Braxton whenever I want to just get on their schedule. Why would another business or why would another person feel that way about me? So at any rate, they said I wasn't communicating with them. And just again, to give you a little more context, lady sold 2 properties in the same year. She didn't feel she had to pay tax on it. She felt like because she had some other personal issues that taxes don't apply because she has 2 properties. And I explained to her the tax law and all of that, and she wasn't hearing it. So what I did was I copied the tax law. I got the link for the tax law, and I sent it to her. She didn't read it. So I sent her that on a Friday. On a Monday, she texted me again and said I wasn't communicating with her. I said, I sent you this on Friday. You never communicated back. You never responded back. Did you read it? Response, no, I didn't read it. Can you please read it? Can you please read it? Because, now that I'm an enrolled, well, even before, I always try to hold myself to the highest standard possible. But now that I'm an enrolled agent with the IRS, I definitely have to make sure I keep myself at a high standard, at an ethical standard, because people with their lack of understanding, right, will have you in janky situations. I can't afford janky situations. Especially, I talk trash about janky situations, right? That's number one. Number two, so I can't only go into janky situations because of your lack of knowledge. And then it always kills me when people say that you don't have to pay taxes or you don't have to do anything do any of the filings because it's not the law. And I always say, refer back to the amendments where it gives Congress the authority to tax the public. That's one. And two, let's look at all these arrests. Really, really famous people got, everyone from Fat Joe to Lauryn Hill to Wesley Snipes. There's too many people going to jail for tax-related issues, getting jammed up for tax-related issues, just because they feel, right? Because they feel they don't have to pay taxes because it's not a thing. And so this lady kind of rented the properties off and on. I tell real estate investors all the time, one of the things you need to do is make sure you're reporting depreciation. One thing she didn't do is report her depreciation. What is depreciation? Depreciation is basically expensing the cost of your property over the life of the property. Example, if you brought a building to rent out and it's a residential building, you usually get to write that off over 27 and a half years. So you can't write off, let's say it's $100,000. Let's say you brought it for $100,000 in 2020. You cannot expense off $100,000 for that building in 2020. You cannot write off or take a tax write-off for buying that building for $100,000 in 2020. You have to space out those expenses or those deductions. And it's a whole thing in the IRS. But time and time again, I have a lot of real estate clients, but time and time again, I see so many people that are supposedly gurus and very well established not do that. And she did not do that. So you had that going on. And you also had the fact that she sold 2 properties and she didn't feel that she had to pay taxes on them. And so, you know, I had to stand firm on my rendering of how I saw the situation. What makes it even crazier is that she had another accountant or another tax preparer work on these taxes before. Something happened. I don't know what, but I guess I kind of get it why. And the tax preparer stopped working on her stuff. But the previous tax preparer did it wrong. Now, there is an exemption for people who own and live in their personal properties. When you live in your personal properties 2 out of the last 5 years, and let's say you're single, you do not have to pay any tax on any profits under $250,000. But it has to be your personal residence. You have to live in it 2 out of the last 5 years, right? And her situation was shady. The previous tax preparer put both of those properties under her personal residence. You could only do one. And she sold them both in the same year. And so she said, look, the previous person said I didn't have to pay this much in taxes. I'm not the previous person. I'm going to go by the code. I'm showing you the code. I don't know what else you want me to do, but that's what it was. So long story short, she sends me this text. She says I'm feeling superior. She told me to keep the money. I don't feel comfortable keeping the money. I will refund half of the money back there just in good faith and good practice, because I don't believe in delivering or keeping somebody's money and not delivering on the product or the process or the service, whatever it is, right? So I'm going to send back half the money. But what do y'all think? What would y'all do in that situation? And I'll be honest, it hurt my feelings a little bit because I spent a lot of time with this person, and for her to kind of come up with those assertions is crazy to me because I know my intentions and I know what work I did. But what do y'all think about that scenario? Am I wrong in that? Am I right in that? Should I adopt different policies? Tell me how you see it. Tell me how you see it. Well, thank you, Vanessa. I appreciate that, man. All right, so I wanted to talk about this real quick. So again, as we're waiting, while I put this up, put your commentary in. Am I crazy? Did I handle it wrong? All right, so for everybody, hopefully you can see this article is on the Wall Street Journal's website, WSJ.com. And here, the name of the title, for DoorDash and Airbnb, more isn't necessarily merrier. Robinhood effect has helped drive valuations to pie in the sky levels. Gravity will kick in eventually. All right, so this article came out December 11th. All right, so if DoorDash and Airbnb underdeliver, it will because its investors expect too much. It's because it's because investors expect too much. There is no question retail interest in public offerings has soared this year, and their first day of trading, shares of Airbnb closed more than double where they were priced. Just one day earlier, DoorDash closed on Thursday 82% higher than its own initial public offering price. By the way, y'all, I want to say DoorDash was 102. I want to say their original IPO price was 102. Airbnb's was $68. All right. So day traders aren't rushing into these names just for the fun of it. Low interest rates have almost forced anyone looking to make meaningful returns this year into the public markets, explaining in part the record number of blank check companies that have recently listed. But this week's traditional listings seem to be at the center of all this trending in 2020, most notably the acceleration of the shift towards online commerce. The pandemic has made businesses which have brought safety and ease to how we travel and eat seem not only attractive, but essential in the near term. And as opposed to fellow unicorns like Uber and Lyft, who have yet to turn a profit. So listen, y'all hear that? Uber and Lyft still have not turned a profit. Still have not turned a profit. Tesla is a part of that group too. But people love Elon Musk. People go to the church and worship at the altar of Elon Musk. So Elon Musk and Tesla kind of get a pass. But back into this. All right, both DoorDash and Airbnb have managed to turn a profit on a select basis for some period of the year and has outshone their competitors. For the year, they're saying this year. All the other years, they've been negative. So with so many consumers fleeing to the big cities over the last several months, Airbnb has pared down its ambitions to become a broader hospitality conglomerate to emphasize its homestay accommodations in more remote locations. My daughter is here. Oh, my daughter has brought me food. Would you like to get on camera and say hello? Oh, look at you. Look at you.
Hi.
So they can't see you. I have to shift.
Hi.
So you see that? So you got to scoot down so they can see your whole face. There you go.
Hi.
So you got me some nutritious and delicious food.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, man.
Bye. Have fun.
Thank you. So that's the superstar shining right there, y'all. But going back to the article, excuse my my break for my daughter. I'll break anything for my children. So forgive me. And I think my other child's on my IG, my firstborn, my namesake. Junior's watching detail. Hello, son. So let me get back to the article. My apologies for that. All right. So with so many customers fleeing the big cities over the last several months, Airbnb has pared down its ambitions to become a broader hospitality conglomerate to emphasize its homestay accommodations in more remote locations. DoorDash has welcomed the urban exodus with open arms, having built their business to capitalize on suburban markets from the beginning. All right, so here, I'm not going to read the whole article because I don't want to put y'all to sleep, but the article is basically talking about how these companies are really pumped up and don't have a whole lot to show for it. And again, as we started at the top of the show, why do stock prices go up? Why do stock prices go down? Stock prices go up because more buyers are buying, not necessarily because the buyers are right. Stocks go down because there's more people selling in the market than they are buying, right? Not because they go down, but just because they're selling. The stock market is a wonderful reflection of human emotion. So just like the example I just told y'all about with my business, with my client, I feel that situation is very, very steeped in emotional responses to other trauma that this lady has gone through before, not necessarily because of me. I take it personal because I take my business personal, and everything I do, I try to be helpful. Like I do these sessions because I want to see more people in our community do better. I feel that a lot of times we make really, really bad money mistakes because we get bad information. That information is then internalized and then passed on. And just like word of mouth is the best form of marketing, but word of mouth is also the best form of rhetoric. All right. Because when you pass on one thing to another, or if I tell, let's say who's in the audience right now. So if I tell Vanessa something and Vanessa tells Talisha something and Tiffany then tells Edith something, it's initially going to change. Right. And we know things don't go linearly, right? These changes a lot of times, they grow exponentially. So the change from Vanessa to Talisha to Tiffany to Edith is not just going to be 1 + 1 + 1. It's probably going to be 1 + 2 + 4 + 8 + 16 + 32. And so you have to keep that in mind. Let me know if I just lost y'all because I just nerded out a little bit. Put a 1 if you get what I'm saying. The same things happen in the market that happen in real life. We must understand that as we become better investors. So just, I want to make sure I didn't leave anybody behind when talking about that. All right. So I deliver beauty. How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Is this your first time joining us? Shad knows loans. How you doing, brother? He's laughing at my janky situations. Well, they kind of are. And listen, I'll be honest. Part of the reason in my younger years that I didn't really, really gravitate towards tax or the tax business that much is because I've had some really, really serious situations that could have been fatal happen to me when I was working, especially when I was running my dad's tax business. And so I never really took to that. But now we're all virtual, so it's a totally different scenario. But I always hated that. I mean, the way people react over their refunds is very illogical, especially when you got the money all year long and you never decided to save, invest, or do anything meaningful with the money. You made a decision to spend the money, and then the tax man is coming on April 15th, and you didn't prepare for it. But now you're mad at me because you don't like it, or you're mad at me because I don't want to report your broke kids on your tax return. No, I've seen too much of it. I've seen too many people go down over the situation, and it's not worth it. My time, my freedom is not worth any amount of money. Right. So I Deliver Beauty says to protect yourself, you got to follow the law. Absolutely. I Deliver Beauty says IRS doesn't play and they will come from you. Absolutely, they will. All right. So eBlink says, what about the great vaccine race, Pfizer versus all the other companies? I mean, there's a lot of companies that are actually getting federally funded money. The DOD is putting a lot of money into companies out there. I mean, it's a real thing, but Pfizer and Moderna are going to be the first to market. And usually anytime you're first to market, you have first mover advantage. Doesn't always mean you're going to have the best mover advantage. For example, Apple wasn't the first people to put a computer on the market, but they were one of the people that did it the best. So first market advantage is important a lot of times, but it's not always the greatest thing. All right, Jack says it's something weird about Tesla. Even though I'm invested, I don't trust it. Yeah, they don't make any money. I know somebody's going to say, well, they've been profitable the last 5 quarters. They've been profitable the last 5 quarters. Yeah, but barely. Michael Bright says you did the right thing. It's better to also educate your clients so they can also avoid doing the same mistakes over and over again. Yeah, I always try to educate my clients. One thing, and it's funny, one thing someone said, my homie Pamela Jolly said, it's one thing to hear the information. It's another thing to actually really receive the information and ingest the information and use it. Right. So I can talk to y'all blue in the face. If y'all never act on it and develop acumen in the things that I'm talking about, I'm not going to say it's a waste, but it's almost a waste, right? Because there's been no impact in these situations. My intentions are that you can get impact from it and use it, but at the end of the day, it's still up to you to take the action, to ask the questions, which is an action, right? To put these things that I'm talking about in practice, which is an action, to make a better way out of life for you and yourself. Dark Horse, how you doing? Press J2, how you doing? All right, we got a 1. So what's up, Wendell? I mean, it's money's here. Jack the First, Apple marketing is their genius. Yes, it is. It's one of their geniuses. They're also very good at logistics and infrastructure. So Apple marketing is their genius. Though you see how they fell off in the late 80s and early 90s. Absolutely. They definitely fell off. Gabor Ziza, how you doing? Welcome. So, again, everybody gets hyped up and we see it. There's cycles. Here's some homework for y'all. I know people don't like homework, don't like the term homework, but look this up. Look up the tulip crisis. I want you to look up the tulip crisis. And so this is, I'm not even going to give it to y'all. I want y'all to look it up and then y'all come back to me and y'all tell me what it is. Send me a DM or put it in the chat here on my Facebook and YouTube. And tell me if y'all have seen this often. All right. So what do y'all think about this? So we got DoorDash, we got Airbnb, definitely being hyped up. Definitely being hyped up by the vaccines, right? We're also seeing vaccines being distributed this weekend. So again, the whole world is being hyped up on vaccines and hope that they work. Kay Landers, how you doing? So I Deliver Beauty. You're asking me a question on a Saturday. I'll answer it. Usually I don't answer questions on Wednesdays. So you asked, what do you think is better to invest in, stocks or ETFs? Both. There is no real right or wrong. I love ETFs. I've written about ETFs. I've written about stocks, been published for both of them. I think ETFs are probably a bit easier to invest in. For example, let's say you're looking at the stock markets, you're saying interest rates are super duper low right now. They're bound to go up. Right now might be a good time to get into financials or banks, maybe. So instead of picking out of all the big slews of all the big banks, from your JP Morgans to your Bank of Americas to your Wells Fargo's, to any of those, you say, you know what? I'm just going to buy an ETF. XLF is the ETF. By the way, nothing that I talk about is an investment recommendation or investment idea. These are all investment ideas. This is not investment advice. All right. That's not that is not an investment recommendation. Past performance of an investment recommendation or an investment does not indicate future results. Basically, what that means is just because a stock or ETF is doing great now does not mean it will continue to do great in the future. All right. So talk to an investment or tax advisor before you make any investment decisions. Be sure to do that. All right. So again, I think they're good. There's some articles out there. There are some there's some YouTube videos I've done that talk about that. I Deliver Beauty. If you want, I will also, I can inbox you some of those if you like. Yes, I've seen the returns for ARK. ARK is greatly invested in, or heavily invested in, Tesla. And I just kind of talked about Tesla, right? And I'm not a believer. I don't subscribe to the church of Elon Musk and Tesla. I'm not paying my tithes to them. I'm not making any sacrifices on their altar. Sorry. Just not. I know it's going up. It's going up in the short term. Okay. So again, I think when we talk about investments, again, we get all hyped up because of media, right? And just here's just aside, because my older son was on, and he always calls me anytime there's something bubbling up in the market, anything sexy, right? I call this financial pornography as well. I call these papers and all these blogs. You can throw me in the mix too, y'all. I'm just being totally transparent. However, I feel that all these things help form perspective. However, they're not, any one thing is not or should not be used to make an investment decision. Many of us make these, the reason why these stocks are running is because people don't have real investment perspective. And people that are trading really should be investing. So when I say trading, they're day trading, they're swing trading, they're doing it for a short term. And they really should be trying to increase their money over in a long-term perspective. Why? Because they don't know anything. And I don't say that with any shade. I don't say that with any malice. I don't say that to try to put anybody down or hurt anybody's feelings. I'm just telling the truth. I have these conversations with many people, and they say, well, yeah, Tesla is what's the one I'm getting right now? Tesla's a great company. They're kind of like Amazon. Amazon wasn't profitable till like the last 4 or 5 years. And I say, no, there's a difference. The difference is Amazon has been profitable for a quite long time. They made a conscious decision to reinvest their profits back into their business. That's why that's why they run the books category. That's why they're in groceries right now. That's why they handle roughly 5% of all online traffic at some point, shape, or form. That's why they dominate cloud, or one of the dominants of cloud, because they took their money and they reinvested it. Yeah, Bezos is a billionaire, but if you actually go back and you look at some of the investments Amazon has done, they put tens and tens of billions back into research. I can't tell you how many failures Amazon has had. However, the book segment, let's just start there as a foundation, was profitable, right? So they took that success and it funded all the failures. And by the way, those failures aren't really failures. They're really lessons. They were really things to say, you know what, that don't work. Let's X that off the list. By the way, Tony Hsieh just passed this week, right? He's the founder of Zappos. Amazon acquired Zappos. Zappos, for y'all who don't know, was a shoe company. Now, when Amazon tried to acquire Zappos the first time, Zappos wasn't going for it. Amazon tried to, in turn, create their own replication of Zappos. They tried to duplicate it. They couldn't. They kept losing money. Probably as part of it because Tony Hsieh's ethos was so ingrained to the customer service. And I'm sure Amazon has now borrowed some of that now because they study the consumer so well. And that's why they're able to do something. That's why they're able to dominate so well, because they have so much data on the consumer. But Zappos wouldn't sell initially. After Amazon tried to duplicate them, bite their style, it didn't work. And then Amazon had to come back and give Zappos the number that they wanted. And so they kind of lost that battle to a certain degree. Now they won it ultimately because they brought the company. It does great. I'm sure they've, cross-pollinated one another in terms of culture and idea and business process. But it's not the same. So Amazon is not the same as Tesla, y'all. It's not. Trust me. Go back and do your research. Do your due diligence. And then come back and holler at me. I am open for all these discussions. Seriously. By the way, I want to do an open room forum with some of y'all. So do me a favor. Text me at 215-974-0058 and just type in open room, because I would love to get some of y'all and actually have real conversations with you all and hopefully help you with anything financial that you need help with in terms of learning. All right. DAJ the Gemini, how you doing? Welcome. I deliver beauty. Yeah, no problem. Much appreciated. Appreciate that you're here as well. Humbled that you're here. All right. Oh, and Talisha, with her resourceful self, always comes through in the clutch. So she Googled the Dutch tulip bulb market bubble. All right. So y'all can go to Investopedia. By the way, Investopedia is a great resource to look up different terms, different strategies. I mean, again, it's all textbook. It's all kind of an academic thing. But the more you understand the comments, or the more you understand the language, the better you will be in kind of increasing your financial IQ. So y'all look up the Dutch tulip bubble. It's on Investopedia, and it's definitely on other places out on the interwebs. All right. So it is 1 o'clock. I've been on here for about an hour running my jibs. I know what y'all want to see. Y'all want to see who won the shirt, right? Y'all want to see who got the winnings. So let me pull up my sheet here. Give me 1 second. So does anybody remember what they guessed? So again, the contest was for the Airbnb closing price of the day of their IPO. So I just did a quick Google sheet, threw them all in, separated them by platform. I don't think anybody can see that. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. So let me see, is that any better? Yeah, it looks better. All right, so for the Airbnb contest, again, I asked everybody to make their best guess at what the closing price of Airbnb was going to be on the day it IPO. And so here are the results. They're not in order. Yeah, Vanessa, I had a contest. All right, so Airbnb's closing price, I want to say it was Thursday, was $144.71. All right, so we have all the contestants here who put in and commented. Zamira, Urban Bear Life, which is that. Demetrius, Zamira. That was on IG, on my Financial Rebel Academy group, which you all can join. Be sure to join it. We had Sharon, Sharice, and Denise. All right, so let's see who had the closest. The first three who had the closest price to closing. So on Instagram, it looks like Samira had it. So her bid was $137. So her guess was $137. Urban Beard Life had $101. Andrea Morgan had $102. Oh, here we go. 100 by Demetrius Ellis. By the way, Demetrius is not a family familial relationship, but that is my brother from another. So he had 130. Zamira had 160. Corey had 220. Angelina had 84. All right, so the closest being Zamira. The next closest would be, I'm sorry, Samira was the closest. She was only off by $7. The second closest would be Demetrius, and then the third closest would be Zamira. So those three win over on IG. So I said, since this got such a great response, I will honor those on IG. I will honor those on Instagram. and I will honor those in my Finance Rebel Academy group on Facebook. Oops, that's wrong. Undo. Did any of y'all guess? Were y'all even close? All right, so in my Facebook group, it was actually closer, which I guess is a testament to some of my guidance. Hopefully, they were much closer. So now Derek Henderson. Anybody know where Derek is? Derek is another one of my tax brothers. Derek Henderson guessed $149.35, but he did that at like 3:42 in like 52 seconds. Like he came in like almost at the closing of the bell. What's up, Shelby? He came in at like the closing of the bell. D Horace, how are you? Bonafide Credit Repair, how are you? Welcome. But he came in at the closing of the bell and put his price in. My mistake, though, right? Listen, you always have to look for your accountability and your responsibility in any situation, big, little, or small. My mistake was I didn't set the proper parameters. I should have turned this off at like noon, so the Derricks of the world couldn't get in. But Derek got the closest price, so I can't front on him. I got out of my word. So his price was $149.37. Now y'all remember the closing price was $144. So he missed the mark by about $4.64. All right, the next was, so we got two. We got Kim Christie, who guessed $150, and Dwight, who has been a long supporter of the Finance Rebel movement and work, guessed $150 as well. And then we had Denise Sangster, who guessed $152. All right, so that's who won, y'all. Now, were y'all close in any of that? Were y'all close with yeah, I remember, Talisha, you guessed 120. But you know, you get one anyway since you're volunteering to be a model. One of the things I'm going to do in the new year, as I said, my new year goals and new year intentions, I want to do more merchandise sales. People are like, Kamara, you never tell us about the merchandise. And then now people are starting to ask me more about it. So I have to start promoting it more. All right, but those are our 3 winners on Instagram. Those are our 3 winners on the Facebook Rebel. I'm messing up stuff today, y'all. I'm hungry. On the Finance Rebel Academy group on Facebook. So, you know, a total of 6 people. Yeah, Vanessa, you got to chime into the group more often. You be missing out, but I know you busy. You be jet setting. You be hanging out with Karen Hunter. All right, so Darren Miles says, thoughts on concerns for taking the vaccine. Is it something you would consider? Any thoughts on vaccine concerns in the Black community? Of course, I have concerns on the vaccine in the Black community, especially since the Black community has been like the lab rats or the lab monkeys, no pun intended to my people or my ancestors, but we all know about the Tuskegee experiment. Look up smallpox blankets. There's been various other studies about military, and listen, I am not a conspiracy theorist, y'all. I am the farthest from it, but there's a difference between conspiracy theorists and actually having proof. And so we know Tuskegee was real. We know Black women were experimented on at various times because they believe Black folks had a higher pain tolerance than anybody else, especially Black women. Some of the torture, because it was torture, it wasn't medical research, it wasn't scientific research, it was torture, flat out torture, was conducted on Black people, supposedly in the guise of bettering science. But we also know that the narrative around Black people we were less than human. We were 3/5 of a human being. We were actually animals. That's the narrative, right? That's why it's always important to really check those narratives. And the only way you can really check those narratives is by getting education, doing your own reading, doing your own research, not just listening to people that say something because it's slick, fly, or cool, but because it's actually real, actual, and factual. So, you know, there again, to answer your question, yeah, I'm concerned. I don't want to be the first people to take the vaccine. I feel really sorry for some of these frontline workers. Some of them want to take it. I'm cool with it too. That's your choice. But I saw a meme the other day that I thought was really interesting. Everybody knows there is medicinal reasons for marijuana. Everybody knows that marijuana has healing properties. Everybody knows that marijuana can be used in medicine. Yet and still, marijuana is still classified as a class 1 drug. Class 1 drug, supposedly like the worst type of drug out there. It's the same classification as heroin. Go figure. Marijuana's been around since man has been around. This vaccine has just come out in the last year. And they sped that through. And it's not classified as a class 1 drug. But we put that through, or they put that through, because I'll say this, there's profit motive behind it. And again, I am not a conspiracy theorist. COVID is real, right? I went to a funeral today of a woman that was, not today, this week on Wednesday, to a woman that was like an aunt to me, raised me, changed my diapers, and she passed. And it was really, really sad because she was really a wonderful woman. One of the first women to me that showed that she had backbone and had a voice. Didn't back down to anything, told everybody to kiss her grits if that's what it called for. And I always admired that. And she always treated me with love, right? And she told me if I was wrong or not to do something as I was growing up. She was my mother's best friend. So much so that they listed my mom in the obituary. So there's definitely close ties there. However, when we look at this from a global, like a 50,000 foot level thing, I do have questions about what's going on. I do. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Okay, Jack the First says, got to get me a red and black rebel shirt. Absolutely. I will send you the link as soon as we're done. I will send you the link as soon as we're done. Matter of fact, where is the rest of this at? All right, so yeah, I don't have a whole lot of love for it. I'm not the vaccine Nazi either, right? We don't see polio anymore. We don't see measles anymore, right? I try to be objective in all things. I do. Some people hate that about me. I love that about me because that's how God made me. So, it's all good. It's all good in the hood. But I feel like you have to try to be objective about all things and look at both sides. If anybody wants Finance Rebel shirt, it makes a great holiday gift, right? Just go to bit.ly/FR_store. bit.ly/FR_store. STORE. Somebody on Instagram, do me a favor, can y'all put that in the chat and I will pin that post. Again, it's if you want Finance Rebel gear, merch, because I got some other things on there too, right? I have the shirt, I've got my coffee mug, I have more merch coming. Y'all know I'm really, really interested in the e-commerce space. One of the reasons why I am so enthralled or so, what's the word I'm looking for? Mesmerized, amazed by the stock market is because I feel the stock market is a place where it doesn't care about your race, creed, or color. It doesn't care about your nationality, your sexuality, your gender. It only cares that you have the money. That's all it cares about. And very much so, I think e-commerce is very much the same. So that's why I bring on people like a Kelly from Kelly's Closets, who has the biggest plus size lingerie company in America. That's why I'll bring on like an Elijah from Comedic Knowledge, who has a black apparel brand geared towards serving Black women. That's why I'll bring on like a Michael Nightwing from Netter Gold, who was on, it was like 2 weeks ago, talking about his health and his beauty skincare business that, is blowing up everywhere. Like if you've seen the "Why Are You So Ashy" commercials, that's Michael. That's Michael. So, and plus they're all Black owned businesses, right? That's the other key, which I love. Y'all know I love Black owned businesses to the fullest. Oh, thank you, Talisha. Mid-Atlantic, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining. So, I am definitely very, very interested in e-commerce. That's why I'm looking at it. And I'm always testing stuff, right? One, so I can kind of talk about it like I've done eBay. I've talked about that as well. I've done some interviews on that. But I test these things on myself and then kind of show everybody else who's in my audience and my family and my community. So let's see. I thought I saw another comment or two. We'll definitely get to those. So Tiffany says, I'm scared of the vaccine. I'm good on that. Hey, I'm not mad at you. I get it. I get it. So wait a minute. Vanessa, you got some pastries from Edith, the Bronx cake lady? That's dope. Yes, ma'am, you did. Talisha says, and I made my guess when you initially posted the contest. Yes, you did. You were one of the first movers. Appreciate you. What is this? Deidre Ramsey McIntyre, Medium's account. Conduit's fast acting COVID-19 saliva test could allay fears. Okay, I gotta check this out. All right, so listen, everybody, it's Saturday. Go out there, do something fun. Have some fun. Did y'all get value out of this? If you got value out of this, do me a favor. Like the comments on Facebook and on Instagram. Follow me on YouTube as well. And help me do this. I've set some goals, right? So next year, my goal is I want to get my YouTube page to 10,000 subscribers. Hopefully y'all help me on that journey. 10,000 subscribers. So help me by that. The algorithms kind of work against you. So do me a favor. The way you work against the algorithm or fight the algorithm is you like it. You like the video. You like the posting. You share it. You comment. You watch it. You got to watch it. Watch time is important on YouTube. And so the bigger I grow my YouTube channel, the more people I can help. And I'm just tired of seeing bad advice on the internet, on the social webs. And I know I can't help everybody, but if I can help one more person, that's good. So share this with one person. It helped me to get the 10K. So that's my 2021 goal. That's one of my 2021 goals. I'll share some more as the year rounds out. So just go to youtube.com, www.youtube.com/Kamari Ellis. And you spell Kamari Ellis, CAMARIELLIS. All right, folks. So listen, everybody, again, I appreciate you all being here. I'm humbled that you're here with me every week, several times a week. Don't forget, tomorrow I will be doing the Black Wealth Project show at 7 p.m. So check that out as well. And I will see you all soon. If you have any questions for me, don't forget, text me at 215-974-0058. Talk to y'all soon and have a great night. Bye-bye.